And it's Scissors and Scrubs here in the holiday season. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
And we are coming right up on the big Christmas day. I haven't looked at the calendar, but I think all the other holidays. Is Hanukkah really close to it this year? Do you know?
I haven't looked at the...
I want to say they're like on the same days this year. Is it Christmas Eve might be the first day or the last day of Hanukkah? I could be wrong. But we're wishing everybody a happy holiday season. And we're just going to... This one is your...
No, Hanukkah's the 26th, as well as Kwanzaa.
So it's right after Christmas. All right. So we're incorporating a ton of shit in this one. This is a schmodge podge. This is your Christmas buffet.
Yeah.
It's Christmas morning. We're having a little breakfast buffet.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Buffet
What do
on
we do
Christmas
morning? I don't know. We would do a Christmas dinner, but I don't know what's happening this year. It's like I'm all over the place, you know.
We always used to do Christmas dinner, but now I usually work Christmas, like Christmas 3 to 11. Yeah. So we do like a breakfast,
which is
brunch.
Nice. I mean,
thing.
Christmas Eve is the big one for both of us.
Yeah.
So I don't really care what happens.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that because it's, religious significance. But we celebrate Christmas Eve. And if I had my way, Christmas Day would just be the leftovers in my pajamas all day and just hang out and watch TV because I'm tired after that.
Yeah.
I want it. By the time New Year's rolls around, I am done.
Yes.
I am ready for everything to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the holiday season, and what is one of the big traditional drinks of the holiday season, Laura?
Eggnog.
A little eggnog, which I think is one of the most vile creations.
I love eggnog.
I think it's disgusting.
I love it.
Well, it is a traditionally consumed during the winter month drink. Mm-hmm. It is a chilled dairy beverage. It gets its name from one of its main ingredients, eggs. While many people may not fancy drinking eggs on their own, you put milk, cream, sugar, cinnamon, and a little bit of booze, and everybody goes wild. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, we recorded a bunch of episodes in one night, so if you've listened to our previous episode, you know I laughed my ass off. So I'm a little phlegmy from that laughing jag. Eggnog has, I said that? Okay, so it has been a traditional Christmas beverage for hundreds of years in America. But we are not the only ones that like to drink a little eggnog. There are different types, including egg cup in Denmark, chilled camel's milk in the United Arab Emirates, coquito from Puerto Rico.
Delicious. That's delicious.
Is it?
Yes.
Italian bombardino, creme de vin in Cuba, Jamaican eggnog, Thai milk tea, Mexican rum pop, Sabajon in Colombia. As a seasonal drink, it is typically only in stock during the winter months. There is a reason it is only in stock during the winter months. The beginning of the word eggnog has its Old English origins, as does a lot of the shit in the United States, with nog meaning either a strong beer, as in I'm drinking beer, or a wooden cup. Didn't know that, did you?
No.
The word eggnog seems to derive from both these meanings, with the presence of eggs and its strong alcoholic ingredients. Excuse me. Most historians and foodies generally agree eggnog originated in medieval Britain. The upper classes were the only ones to have access to milk, sherry, and eggs required to make the first version of eggnogs. So it began as an exclusive beverage. Monks in the Middle Ages added figs and eggs to this beverage, and they called it a posset. Essentially an aromatic eggnog, and the wealthy generally used it for toasts to health and wealth.
That's probably why I like it so much.
I just hate it. Most likely, eggnog became associated with the holiday season due to lack of refrigeration.
Oh.
In the early American colonies, eggnog became a more common drink. Due to the extensive farming opportunities, farmers and everyday people had more access to cows and chickens. And with cows and chickens come milk and eggs, essential ingredients for eggnog. Surprisingly, George Washington, he had strong feelings about eggnog. His recipe, write this down if you want to have George Washington's eggnog.
Take note.
On Christmas.
Okay.
1 quart of cream, 1 quart of milk, 12 tablespoons of sugar, 1 pint of brandy, a half a pint of rye whiskey, a half a pint of Jamaican rum, and a quarter of a pint of sherry.
Jesus Christ!
He was a booze bag. Now, you know how the Constitution was written.
We can't drink that.
Well, we could.
I mean, we could.
I might be throwing up, but I'll drink it.
Oh my God.
He omitted the number of eggs, but 1 dozen seems to be a good ratio.
Oh!
Do you think that's fattening? A dozen eggs, cream, milk, sugar, brandy, whiskey, rum, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yes. So, the final instructions included in the recipe were to leave it in a cool place for a few days and taste it frequently. Yeah, I bet you did taste it frequently. Due to the lack of refrigeration, the winter months around Christmas were the only times people could leave a milky, eggy beverage out for any time without spoiling. Unlike the medieval version, sherry became less prominent in the new American territories. Rum became the popular alcoholic addition due to America's proximity to the Caribbean islands, where enslaved Africans, why they had to add this, I feel bad, where enslaved Africans harvested sugarcane from molasses, an essential ingredient in rum. The molasses trade became crucial in the development of the Americas. Okay. It also has a troubled past. Did you know that?
Eggnog?
Yeah. There was an eggnog riot at West Point in 1826. What? Oh, yeah. Well, with rum, whiskey, brandy, and sherry on board. To set the stage, Laura, you'll need to know a little bit about the tradition that spurred the events of that night.
Okay.
West Point, the United States Military Academy, Army, which is why this happened.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened at Navy.
They hosted a Christmas celebration every year with eggnog, probably George Washington's recipe. But with the introduction of the strict new superintendent, Colonel Sylvanus Thayer,
all sounds strict.
Alcohol was forbidden at West Point. Well, students being students, they didn't care about his monastic rules. It was tradition at West Point. So they didn't want to miss out the fun. And in 1826, they concocted a plan. Students began trying to smuggle in alcohol from taverns around town and even from across the Hudson River to add to their eggnog. After a scuffle, when two monitors discovered a few drunk students, things escalated into a full riot.
Oh, my God.
Once things calmed down, there was a significant damage to the institution, and 20 cadets were expelled.
Over eggnog.
Of the eggnog riot of 1826.
Oh, my God.
Its rich history doesn't stop in the Americas. Jamaica has an identical drink with a rum twist. Jamaica eggnog specifically calls for a particular brand of rum made with Jamaican molasses and aged in white oak barrels for up to 4 years.
Sounds delicious.
Across the globe, the Japanese have eggnog. They call it tamagozaki, made by whisking raw eggs and sugar into a warm sake. This drink is more well known for its medicinal properties, including soothing sore throats and alleviating the common cold. And then it gets into making it safely, but seeing as I will never make eggnog, well, let me just tap on it. Make sure you use pasteurized eggs.
Yes.
Which means it's been sterilized before. Use egg substitutes if you don't have pasteurized eggs, and you cook it to 160 degrees. And I think that's all I have to say about eggnog, which I think is
pitcher that has like an eggnog recipe on it. It's a glass pitcher with this like really long.
I think I know that pitcher.
Yeah, I think you gave it to me.
I think I do.
And it has the whole recipe on it. You know what I do? I go to the liquor store and buy bottles.
Pour it
into my pitcher
and say I made it.
For my Christmas party.
This year, you need to say it's George Washington's
I'm
recipe.
Gonna say this is George's.
Yeah, I got it off the podcast. Scissors and Scrubs. They gave us the recipe. It's amazing.
I'll just add all that liquor.
If it was the only fluid left on Earth, and it was that or die, I probably would die.
Really?
My brother, like my mother, at Christmas would roll around, and you know the hood has the
yes, I love that the golden
eggnog. My mother would buy that, and my brother would suck that down like, what is it, a half gallon after half gallon. He could put away like glasses of eggnog after. Brian loves it, but Brian's not my brother. He's very disciplined, so I'll buy. He won't drink it. He loves it, but he will not drink it.
Tell him to put in his coffee as the creamer. That's
what he won't do it.
Even now, just for that?
I know. You could put a little whiskey on it.
He does like a little
whiskey. Or you
whiskey.
can make a nice French toast out of eggnog.
Yes.
You can make a lovely French toast out of it.
I didn't like it when I was little. Like we had the golden eggnog. Like my sister, I think, would drink it, and I didn't really like it. But
I want to like it.
I love it.
I want to like it. I just no.
I put it in my cold brew.
Makes me feel eggy. Makes me feel eggy.
You don't want to feel eggy.
I don't want to feel eggy.
No.
What you got for me, Sparks?
All right. So I have this article from the BMJ.
Oh, this BMJ that just is it going to be? Am I going to be hysterical?
No.
Okay.
That one you were hysterical was not from the BMJ. This is from 2010. A shopping list of doctors. The season of dietary indulgence seems a good time to celebrate doctors whose names have become linked with items of food and drink.
Oh, I'd love to hear.
From antiquity to the present, doctors have attempted to influence the diet of their patients. Some have developed foods that became so popular that they have achieved lasting commercial success. Although many are forgotten as doctors, their names remain well known to the public, becoming famous brand names and trademarks.
Ooh.
So we're talking about this because it's
This
Christmas
sounds like
and everybody eats.
a food that built America episode.
It's kind of like that. So Christopher Rawson Penfold, he lived from 1811 to 1870, and Henry
doesn't
John
sound familiar.
no, and Henry John Lindman, 1811 to 1881.
Lind chocolate? No. Okay.
Doctors played a major role in the development of the Australian wine industry, and two remain as popular brands today: Penfolds and Lindmans. They're wines. Christopher Rawson Penfold studied medicine at St. Bartholomew's Hospital in London. He graduated in 1838. For 6 years, he practiced medicine in Brighton before immigrating to Australia in 1844 and settling close to Adelaide.
Can you imagine what Australia must have been like in 1844?
No, wild. He believed in the medicinal power of wine, particularly for the treatment of anemia.
Oh God, I wish he'd give it to me.
Yeah. In Australia, he developed a successful medical practice and began to make wine. Originally, this was intended for medicinal use, but demand understandably grew, and soon his wine was being sold throughout the country. Although he reduced his clinical work as the demands for the vineyards increased, he continued to practice some medicine until the year of his death. After his death, his wife, who had been involved in the wine production from the beginning, took over the business. It has now become internationally successful.
Because his wife took over.
Probably. Henry John Lindman graduated from St. Bartholomew's Hospital as well in 1834 and became a naval surgeon. He was dissatisfied with his prospects in the Navy.
That's all he was doing was cutting off legs.
Yeah, and he left in 1840 for Australia again, where he started a medical practice. He believed that the Australian climate made wine a healthier drink than spirits, and before leaving Europe had visited French and German vineyards and studied their winemaking techniques. In 1843, Lindman bought land at Kawara, where the soil and climate was suitable for growing vines. He was building up a successful business when a fire destroyed this property and the stock of maturing wine. He went to the Australian goldfields, where he worked as both a doctor and a miner.
Oh my God!
Until he had acquired sufficient funds,
trades.
Yeah, to rebuild the winery. He expanded throughout Australia and soon had a reputation for producing wines of high quality. So you can still get Lindman wines. William Oliver. He was an English physician, philanthropist, and inventor of the Bath Oliver biscuit. He studied medicine at Cambridge and Leiden and then practiced for a time in Plymouth. In 1725, he moved to Bath, where he spent the rest of his life. He soon built up the largest practice in the city. He had a wide range of interests outside of medicine, including literature, art, and architecture. However, he is best remembered today for his invention of the Bath Oliver, a hard, savory biscuit, which he initially used in treatment along with Bath mineral water.
Never heard of it.
He is also said to have invented the Bath bun, which is a sweet fruit bun that his patients loved. They ate them to such excess and gained so much weight that he abandoned buns in favor of the biscuits.
No more buns.
No more buns. You can
no more Bath buns. You're only on the biscuits.
Shortly before his death, Oliver gave his biscuit recipe to his coachman, along with 100 euros and a quantity of flour to set him up in business. The coachman opened a shop and soon made a fortune.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Bath buns.
John Abernathy is another doctor. He made the Abernathy biscuit, which is
I haven't heard of any of these.
They're like English because this is a British medical term. The Abernathy biscuit is a hard biscuit originally flavored with caraway, is named after John Abernathy, who was an English surgeon who studied and worked for most of his life at St. Bartholomew's. That's a big place. Out. Yeah. He had a huge sense of humor.
They were actually in cooking school and didn't know it.
Yes. And his sense of humor made him a really popular teacher. He was renowned for his rudeness to patients, no matter what their social status or wealth.
Sounds like we've worked with a few of those.
Mm-hmm. And it only served to increase his practice and income. He believed that disorders of the digestive tract were responsible for all disease, and that frequent purges and a restricted diet
what was in these biscuits
were vital in the treatment and prevention of disease. After his death, his emphasis on diet led to the naming of a biscuit after him. So he didn't make the biscuit, but
did they make a shit yourself?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Thomas Allison was a British doctor who found a bakery which still produces bread under his name, manufacturing the loaf that claims to have nout taken out. He qualified in Edinburgh in 1879 and practiced throughout his life in London. He was a vegetarian who condemned alcohol, coffee, tea, and tobacco, as well as meat.
No fun.
At a time when much of the medical profession was in favor of smoking as being beneficial to the lungs.
To the lungs. To the lungs.
He believed that the whole wheat grain was the perfect food for a man and that bran was important to health. His outspoken criticisms of his medical colleagues and widespread self-promotional advertising led to the erasure of his name from the medical register in 1892.
Oh,
Despite this, he continued to practice successfully, to give public lectures, and to write on his methods of preventing and treating disease. So he has a
loaf of bread,
whole wheat grain loaf of bread named after him. Joseph Fry was an English physician, businessman.
French fries?
Nope. No. In chocolate manufacture.
Oh.
He served an apprenticeship to an apothecary and settled in Bristol, where he set up an apothecary shop and developed a large medical practice. He was a strong believer in the health value of cocoa powder.
Ooh, I like this guy.
He began to make a chocolate drink in his shop.
Ooh,
in
I like this guy. Nice.
In favor of various he was an astute businessman and soon abandoned medicine, except for charitable cases, in favor of his business activities. In 1761, he purchased a chocolate business, which was successful, and he was soon selling chocolate throughout the UK. In 1764, Fry passed control of the chocolate company to his wife and sons to concentrate on other business stuff. His chocolate company continued to expand and became the largest manufacturer of chocolate in Britain. In 1847, the company was first to develop a technique for producing solid chocolate bars. Ooh. And in 1866,
he was Willy Wonka.
The Fry's chocolate cream bar was invented. It was the first chocolate bar ever invented.
Sounds amazing.
By a doctor.
For your health.
Yeah. And then the last is John Harvey Kellogg. John Kellogg was an American surgeon, hygienist, and food manufacturer who accidentally invented cornflakes. He graduated in medicine from Bellevue Hospital Medical College in New York City in 1875, and the following year became superintendent of the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan. He practiced a brand of holistic medicine, advocating a vegetarian diet, abstinence from alcohol and tobacco, frequent enemas, and exercise. He believed most diseases could be alleviated by altering the intestinal flora. To this end, he used, among other treatments, yogurt enemas.
Oh.
In 1884, Kellogg obtained a patent for the manufacture of flaked cereal, quote unquote. Looking for a digestible bread substitute for use in the sanatorium, he had accidentally left a pot of boiled wheat to stand. This wheat emerged from rolling as large, thin flakes, which when baked became crisp. His patients liked the result so much that he formed a company with his brother to manufacture and market cornflakes. Kellogg also invented peanut butter.
He also invented grape nuts, and Post got the credit because Post was one of his patients and stole the patent when he left.
He also had problems because him and his brother later fell out and parted the company.
Because his brother didn't want to do any of the cereal stuff. And Kellogg didn't want to do it. And his brother's like, you're going to have a gold mine here.
Yeah.
And so the sanitarium burned down. The brother took all the shit and made Kellogg's.
Yeah.
So that was on Foods That Built America. It was fascinating. That Post, because Post was kooky.
Yeah.
But his daughter was like the youngest female to take over the business. She was like 28 because I think he killed himself, Post.
Well, he was in a sanitarium.
She started General Foods. So she went over. She found Birdseye, who had learned how to freeze dry food.
Yeah.
She bought his food and then paid to have freezers put into all the stores and brought Birdseye to everybody. Like, she was a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Great story if you ever get to listen to them.
So doctors
with their
make food too.
Well, I'm going to talk about some disgusting Christmas food.
Okay.
And some of it's pretty disgusting.
Can't wait.
I'm not going to lie.
Oh my God. I just read a post today on something, and people were like, do you guys use fresh noodles or frozen noodles for your noodles at Thanksgiving? And I'm like, who has noodles at Thanksgiving?
What are we talking about here?
I think they're talking about fucking egg noodles, and they make it with like chicken stock, and then they put it on top of their mashed potatoes. It's like a Indiana thing. And people are like, what are you talking about? And these people from India are like, what are you talking about? You can't have Thanksgiving without noodles. I'm like, who eats noodles on their mashed potatoes?
Who eats frozen noodles?
Who eats frozen? Who eats noodles on
I
their
didn't
mashed
even know there was frozen egg noodles. I didn't know that was a thing. I just
No,
thought there was
I'm
like
always
the
getting
dry
the old Dutch.
the yolk.
Yeah. You throw butter on that shit and I'm good.
Apparently, either people make them fresh or they buy these frozen ones. They don't even use those egg noodles. It was very confusing. Anyways, I thought it was disgusting.
I literally have no words for you.
I have no idea what they're talking about. And apparently it's this huge thing. And they look like mush. Because there was pictures.
Why would I want noodles in my mashed potatoes?
I don't know.
I'll take sour cream. I'll even take bacon and cheese, but I don't want noodles in there.
Noodles. And they were like mushy noodles.
No.
Yeah.
Noodles are good all by themselves. You don't mix those carbs.
No, it was weird.
That's disturbing. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to talk about the Christmas Eve carp.
Christmas Eve what?
The Christmas Eve carp.
Cop. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like the fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in a bathtub. If you could all see the picture.
It's in a bathtub.
It's a cop in a bathtub.
Okay.
In Slovakia, Poland, in Czechia, living carps are bought before Christmas and kept in the bathtub for several days until it is eaten. It is a symbol of good luck and a traditional meat-free meal in Central Europe. It is probably started as a way to keep the fish fresh in the days before the refrigeration. It's claimed that keeping the fish in the bathtub also helps remove mud from the digestive tract of the carp.
So they're shitting out the mud in your tub?
I don't want a carp.
Do you have to change the water? You must have to change the water.
It's like you clean it, you soak it in milk before breading and frying it. It's served with cabbage or fish soup. The scales are kept in the wallet of a family member after Christmas for good luck.
Why?
Mike,
like the wishbone?
Here's the Christmas carp scales. I want you to hold these till next Christmas. Some Jewish families also keep fish in bathtubs and use them for making gefilte fish for Passover and Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, no, I don't like it.
It is not that common anymore, but it was featured in the 1972 children's book, The Carp in the Bathtub.
Oh.
Italians don't do this. This one made me...
I'm going to have to ask my Polish friends if they do that.
This made me gag.
Okay.
Kiwiak. A freshly disemboweled seal is stuffed with up to 500 small Arctic birds.
What?
It is then sewn shut and sealed with seal fat to prevent flies from getting in. The birds are buried and left to ferment in the carcass for 3 to 18 months.
Oh! Where is this?
Kiwiak is eaten by biting off the bird's head and then sucking out the juices inside. But you could eat the bird's whole if you choose. Bones and all. It is especially popular during the Arctic winter celebrations, especially during Christmas.
There's no cooking, they just ferment it.
Yeah.
Where is it? Like Norway, Iceland?
Greenland. Another popular Greenland Christmas delicacy is metak.
I'm never going to Greenland.
Whale skin with a bit of blubber inside. People say it tastes like coconut.
Oh my god!
But the skin is very tough to chew, and most people just swallow it whole.
No shit, a whale skin?
Yep. Mm-hmm. It is originally served raw, but now is more commonly consumed breaded, deep fried, or pickled.
Who's killing whales? I didn't even think that was legal anymore.
You know, I guess if you eat the whole thing. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Doesn't that look yummy?
What kind of, what is that?
That is lutefisk. Lutefisk, which is in Norge, Sweden, is made from aged stockfish or dried and salted whitefish and lye.
Lye?
It's gelatinous, smelly, and pretty nasty tasting. The name translates to lye fish.
Who wants gelatinous fish?
I can't. The seal. I couldn't get past the seal with the stuffed
you eat
birds.
lye?
No, isn't it like what you used to get bodies decomposed?
Yes.
Yep. It's soaked. The stockfish is soaked in cold water for 5 to 6 days with daily water changes. Then it's moved to a mix of cold water and lye for another 2 days, swelling the fish, reducing the protein content by 15%, and making the consistency jelly-like.
Why do we want jellyfish?
Because I don't know. It's like if you were to do that to a human body, he would become gelatinous.
Right, the worst stage.
Yes.
The worst stage.
Yes. Yep. After this process is done, the lye-saturated fish is caustic and unedible.
Okay, thank you.
Finally, it is soaked in cold water again for up to 6 days to render it, more or less, suitable for human consumption.
More or less?
Yep. When cooking or eating lutefisk, the fish and all residue must immediately be removed from plates, cutlery, and frying pan. If left dirty, the fish will be impossible to remove.
Oh.
Sterling silverware will be permanently corroded and it comes into contact, so stainless steel is required. I am not eating anything
It's going to corrode a
that
dish.
eats silver.
No.
If it's eating my silver, what is it doing to
Yes.
my intestines?
No, that can't be good.
Lye.
Where
Why
is
are we soaking it in
Who
lye?
thought? Let's soak fish in lye till it
The
gets to be
Swedes
jelly.
and the Finnish apparently did
See,
this.
I'm going to have to bring cereal bars when we
I
go
am
there.
never eating
No.
in Sweden, Finland. Like, all right, I get it. All right, these people back in the Middle Ages or whatever, they're living in these really harsh environments. I get it.
But why did we need lye?
Because they don't have much food. They can't farm
Well, they
because
have
everything's
fish.
frozen. Yes, and this is what they do to it. They
Just
make
eat
it
it fresh.
gelatinous. Maybe they. I don't know.
Leave it in the snow. We'll be fine.
I don't know. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to have to bring bread with me then.
I don't know if it's lechon or lechon.
Probably
from the
neither. It's
Philippines.
probably neither.
Pigs are butchered, and the hair is removed by scalding.
The hair.
Yep. Because pigs have hair and skin. Yeah, which is why people like a pet pig. Well, guess what? My cat sheds fur. Pet pigs shed skin. Okay. I don't want to be walking around my house picking skin off the floor. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
Okay. The belly is opened and the intestines are removed.
Well, good.
And in its place is herbs and seasoning. The skin is rubbed with coconut water, milk, or soy sauce before letting it roast over coal or in a spit for 5 hours. I'm not going to lie. That doesn't sound terrible.
That's like a pig thing.
Yeah, pig roast.
Pig roast.
When I lived in Hawaii, wait a minute, Philippines love Christmas. It's the longest Christmas season in the world from September 1st.
What?
Yep. Is the first day of bear season, the months that end with Burr, and the start of Christmas. For 4 months, every mall in the country plays Christmas songs and is covered in holiday decorations.
Wow.
I did not know that. So when I lived in Hawaii, they take the pig and they bury it in the sand and they cook it all goddamn day. It is the best pork I've ever had in my life. Pork lau lau. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that's not awful.
And I'm okay with eating it, but I don't want to cook it. I don't want to see its face.
No,
I don't want to see
like
the animals
faces
I'm
on
eating. Like,
anything.
I'm not a vegetarian. I like meat, but I don't want to see it
I
looking
don't want to
at
look
me.
at its eyes.
No. Holodets. Holodo means cold in Russian, and this is a meat jelly.
No, why are we gelatinizing everything? Why? Who? No, I don't even like Jell-O.
It's like Spam. It's just like Spam.
Oh.
I don't even like Jell-O. I love Jell-O.
I don't even like
I
Jell-O.
don't want meat Jell-O, but I love Jell-O.
Ugh.
Okay. It's made by cooking pork parts that contain a lot of bone, skin, and cartilage, such as the legs, ears, and the hooves. Can't wait to eat the hooves. Then chicken is added to make a soup that chills into a jelly-like texture. Also known as aspic, Laura, it predates Jell-O by several decades.
See, it's fucking
I didn't
Jell-O.
know it's meat Jell-O.
Isn't Jello made from like
Hooves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The meat broth thickens when it's cooled into a not so appetizing looking lump of jelly. The Polish version is called zimny nozgi.
Oh.
Kuskuza polista. It's a Jell-O mold of meat.
Why are we molding meat? Why? And who still has those Jell-O molds?
I was watching the British Bake Off, and they were doing the 70s.
I saw that.
And I'm like, why is there no Jell-O molds? Because that was
That
the
was
70s.
70s.
Everything was a fucking Jell-O mold.
Yep.
Nothing they made was 70s.
No, just like colors.
That friggin' kid Dylan makes me nuts. He spends every day picking out what outfit he's gonna. I'm wearing velvet on my big, I don't know, electric pants he had on. I was like, what the fuck is he wearing? His big hats. I'm like, dude, you're there to cook. Nobody's using you as a fashion statement. He makes me nuts. Garrett and I just yell at him all the whole time. He's a good cook.
He is a good-
I love
I
his
like him.
dimples.
He's
but
adorable.
He thinks way too much of himself. He's adorable, but he thinks too much of himself.
he's-
I don't like him.
It's 24.
All right, I'm gonna make him a kuskas polista. It's a cold cake. It's
Yeah,
made from
obviously.
cornflakes or
Look at it.
cornmeal, tomato sauce, tomato pieces, boiled egg, and canned ingredients such as peas, corn, olives, and sardines.
Not a cake. That is nothing about that is a cake.
Yeah, no. I thought it was a meat, but it's not. It's
It's tomatoes.
oh my god, Laura.
Oh,
What the fuck is that? This is a 70s dish.
what is that?
KFC for Christmas. In 1974, KFC took advantage of the fact that turkey was not readily available in Japan and started advertising chicken for Christmas. The idea took off and became a real Japanese custom to eat at KFC for Christmas. This is the only country where fast food offers a set meal for Christmas, which includes cake and champagne along with famous fried chicken.
What?
But this is like a KFC
Jell-O mold cake.
Jell-O mold cake. It's disgusting. Unless that's the picture from the other one. I don't know. We've already talked about eggnog. Let's see what else we got here.
That looks like it has tomatoes on it. That one.
Mopane worms.
No.
Yep. Worms. We're going to have some worms.
Worms.
Yeah, we're going to have some worms. One of the Christmas foods of choice in Southern Africa is mopane worms. The caterpillar of the emperor.
The caterpillar?
Yep.
Oh, that's
ideal
worse than a worm. That's worse than a worm.
It's disgusting. The
They're hairy.
ideal harvesting season for these high protein rich maggots is around Christmas, but they are eaten throughout the year. The yellow flesh has been described as tasting just like salty potato chips.
No, it doesn't.
A mix of leaves, earth, and salt. Only 3 kilograms of feed is needed to produce 1 kilogram of worms. I am never in my life eating worms.
Do they cook them?
I don't know. They eat them. That's all I know. And that's enough for me, Laura. I'm not eating worms.
I mean, at least it was cooked.
I am not. I think that's it. Christmas tree dip. Cream cheese. That doesn't sound so bad. So with that, we finished it off with worms. Worms.
Touching worms.
I have a thing, like, I'm not afraid of snakes and stuff. I don't like worms and spiders. Like maggots, they jiggle.
No, maggots
You ever see them? They like
Maggots
shake.
worse.
What are they doing? They're shaking in like in the trash.
But caterpillars are hairy.
Well, depending on the caterpillar. And they move in that weird like gyration.
Yeah, I know.
It's bizarre.
eating
I don't.
And
why
it's-
are we?
that
and
would be
and
very
the inside of them is
chewy.
gelatinous.
It would be very chewy.
I'm not eating it.
You'd have to just
I'm
swallow
not
it.
eating insects. I'm not eating worms. I'm not eating. I don't know. I'm gelatinous meats.
Why are we gelatinizing fish?
I don't would lie.
Oh, God.
Why don't we just get some arsenic and put it on top?
But, like, you have fresh fish. Just eat the fresh fish. Put it in the snow. It'll be fine.
I might do the Arctic birds before the live
Oh, God.
fish.
No. I'm
Suck
doing
their
live
heads
fish
out.
before the Arctic birds. No. I'm definitely doing live
Who
fish.
thought of that? Who thought, like, let's get this seal and gut it and put these
And
fucking
shove
birds in
hundreds
there
of birds into it.
and stick them in there for 18
And make
months.
sure you do the seals of
so the
it
flies
with
don't
fat.
get in. Somebody learned the hard way about the flies.
Yes.
Because the maggots were in there shimmying all over the dead birds.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. All right, what you got? And that was that.
Well, I have from safehome.org the 9 most dangerous Christmas toys ever made. And some of them are still for sale. So we have done this before.
We did cover some of them.
These ones, I don't remember. The ones I'm going to talk about, I don't
Okay.
remember. I'm not doing all 9. So, do you remember Flubber?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the book or the movie.
Flubber.
Robert
It was
Williams?
a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think they made a movie. So, sometime in the late 1960s, under cover of night,
Those were bizarre times.
a cadre of Hasbro employees disappeared in a field behind the Hasbro factory and buried 50,000 mysterious translucent balls. They'd already
In the
tried
ground that people now. Okay.
They'd already tried burning them, dumping them, and sinking them in the ocean, but the balls wouldn't go away. It was
That's
like the
what I've
plot
said.
from some bad 50s horror movie, except in this case, the monster was a silly putty lookalike called Flubber, a gooey, benign-looking substance that, unlike silly putty, gave thousands of kids nasty rashes and sore throats.
Oh.
The Flubber story should end there, but it doesn't.
Well, because you have that cachet of Hasbro employees out in the yard.
After Hasbro buried its backstock of Flubber, it paved the field over and turned it into a parking lot. 35 years later, reports of zombie silly putty rising through cracks in the asphalt
Holy
on hot
shit.
summer days suggest that Flubber is still
Came
around.
to the surface. Could you imagine?
Whatever the heck that is made of.
Well, in the 60s, you're talking no regulations on any of that's when Agent Orange being brought. Like, they were just.
It's still coming out of the parking lot. And it
That's
says,
disgusting.
Is this still available? No, unless you scrape it off the Hasbro parking lot.
Holy shit.
So if you really need to see it, you can go to the Hasbro parking lot.
Let's go, Laura. Let's take a road
All
trip.
right. Wago kite tubes. Anyone remember kite tubing? I don't. It was big in the mid 2000s. Apparently, I was having
heard of
children, so I never heard of it. Not ringing a bell. Imagine a massive 10-foot wide yellow beach tube. I'd say the Wago kite tube is actually more of an inflatable craft than a tube, or maybe even a blow up UFO. Now
So
put
it's like a
big, huge,
pool, like a pool float.
but huge, like the big,
Okay.
huge round ones. Now put your 6-year-old on top, hitch the Wago to a speedboat, and away she goes.
Air?
That's your baby girl rising 15 feet into the air like Evel Knievel. Can you see it?
Holy. Can you see the lawsuits?
Yeah. Neither could the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Some 19,000 Wago kite tubes were pulled off the shelves in 2006, but not before 3 This skips.
3 people died, right?
3 huge injuries.
Holy shit.
So those were pulled. Still can't get them. The picture of this.
I can see it. Like, could you? I mean, it does look like fucking fun, though.
Yes, but you can't put a child on
No,
that.
you cannot. No, you shouldn't even put an adult, because you get a drunk adult on that. They're going into the propellers of the boat.
No, you can't. It's a head injury waiting to happen. Black Panther Wakanda Battle Clause.
This just sounds like a bad idea.
This is bringing us to 2022. The Wakanda Battle Clause from Black Panther, made by Hasbro.
Oh, Hasbro. Didn't you learn from the flubber?
There's nothing dangerous lurking in the fine print here. No radioactive isotopes. No risk of skull piercing, rashes, intestinal clogging, or 3rd-degree burns.
Just eyes missing.
But the World Against Toys Causing Harm, watch, added the battle clause to its list of 2022 Christmas horrors simply because, well, you wouldn't want your 5-year-old running around swatting people with hard plastic claws the size of their heads. 2 cents, the Black Panther is an awesome superhero, but this is yet another insanely ill-conceived product from Hasbro. Is this still available? Yes. The claws hit the market in the summer of 2022. We expect they'll stay on the shelves for another year or 2 until the number of emergency room visits prompts a call.
Wow.
Dangerous Gifts 2024 watches top 10. So that watches group puts out a
I mean, those just
list
look like
every
a bad
year.
idea.
So Coco Melon Musical Learning Watch is on this list because of battery ingestion. It has one of those little watch batteries.
Anything with those watch batteries is.
Disney's Raya's Action and Adventure Sword. The blunt force and eye injuries from it. Lil Woodsy's Tickle Your Taste Buds Bakery. Choking hazard. Zeus Lion. Ingestion and breathing. I don't know what a Zeus Lion is, but don't buy it because there's a problem with ingestion and breathing. Dingray Musical Bath Toy. Ingestion and choking. Ooze Labs Chemical Station. You can get chemical injuries from it. It
sounds bad. Ooze Labs.
Bunny Rabbit Cuddly Pillow. Suffocation.
Oh, how cuddly is that pillow?
Yeah. Pup and Fidget Spinners. Choking. Because they have those little pop things in them. Nerf Pro Gel Fire Mythic Blasters. Eye and face injuries. And the Black Panther Wakanda Battle Clause, eye and facial injuries.
They sound like a bad idea.
Yeah. So those are just some toys to watch out for this year.
Don't get those claws. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to top off this smorgasbord today. The dessert is holiday injuries and stories that actually happened to real people.
Yes.
Shall I go first, Laura?
Yes, go ahead. These were taken from like a website and people wrote in about these stories.
It's health is what it says on here from where it's taken. Okay. Let's see my first story. The failed attempt at elaborate DIY decorations from Pinterest.
I've told you about these DIY pumpkins and flames.
Well, you have to know what
candles.
you're doing. Oh, the picture's not pretty.
No.
Let me see. It's like quite a story here. Okay. I was making my Christmas tree by gluing ornaments to a pegboard on my wall and accidentally hot glued an ornament to my fingers. Oh. It resulted in 2nd-degree burns right on my fingertips, which hurts like a mofo, and a hefty urgent care bill. Totally worth it, though, because my cat-proof tree is beautiful, and I always have an entertaining Christmas story.
Oh, my God.
Now, I've seen videos of cats in the trees and shit. I've had 3 cats. None of them have gone after my trees. I'm not going to lie. I can't put ornaments on the bottom because they use it like batting practice. Yeah. Foom, foom. I watched one of them just swinging ornaments off, but the rest of the tree is fine. So I'm not doing a cat-proof tree.
No. Do you want me to go?
Yes, we'll go back and forth.
I stumbled in the kitchen and my outstretched hand slammed on the handle of a pan of hot gravy. Ugh. It flipped, hit me in the chin, and dumped boiling meat juice inside the collar of my shirt and down into the cups of my bra.
Oh!
I couldn't get the clothes off fast enough to prevent 2nd-degree burns on my boobs. The gravy was thick, so it clung and oozed for extra burning. That same night, my mother's sleeve caught fire while she was serving dinner. Next December 23rd, I'm ordering takeout.
Yeah, I'm not going to that house.
Down her bra.
So it's sitting in the cups
Yes.
and burning.
Yes. And you have to strip naked in front of everybody at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, could you
I
imagine?
wouldn't, and I would die of burns.
That
but
would hurt like a mofo. An indoor sledding session that turned dangerous and knocked over an urn.
Oh, God.
Since we didn't have snow, my cousins and I, what were you fucking thinking? My cousins and I tried to sled down our grandparents' stairs in a plastic box.
Oh, my God.
Looks great on TV. Doesn't work that way.
No.
My cousin went first and fell out about halfway down, breaking her elbow, wrist, and 2 fingers.
Oh, my God.
Before crashing into a table that had a fancy vase on top, which ended up falling on her head, which was her grandmother's ashes.
Oh, my God.
I think it would be worse to have my grandmother's
In
ashes
your mouth and your nose.
all over my body than breaking my elbow, wrist, and my 2
That is
fingers.
bad.
Yep. And what? Like, seriously? Nobody saw them getting ready to do this stunt?
They were probably drinking their eggnog.
Yeah, you're right. With the sherry and the rum. And
Yeah.
Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. One Christmas, my mother got a metal ornament cap embedded in her heel.
Eek!
Seems simple enough to just pull out, right?
No.
Well, the wires that go inside the ornament, they clamp on, kind of keep the metal from falling off, were also in her foot. So those little prongs were stuck
Holy
up in her
shit,
foot
that hurts.
and spread out in the same way as they do inside the ornament. We had to go to the ER and have them remove it with special pliers.
Ouch.
You know how they
Yeah. No, I know exactly. Can you imagine how bad that hurt?
No, that's gonna kill.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. The guy who overdid the holiday cheer part when spending the holidays with his girlfriend's family.
Uh-oh.
It happened to my sister's boyfriend. Let's call him Dean. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, Dean drank an entire case of beer that afternoon and passed out.
Oh.
We didn't know he drank the beer and thought he was, we didn't know he drank the beer and we just thought he was napping. My sister forced him to get up and we took separate cars to a Christmas Eve party. My dad had Dean ride with him. He was not too happy with Dean's decision to get hammered and let Dean know. This prompted Dean to become angry, drunk, and jump out of the moving car. Food everywhere, blood everywhere. Cops and ambulance came. Chaos ensued. Dean was care flighted to a city an hour away, and that's how I ended up at the ER at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve. He ended up having minor injuries, so don't feel too bad for the guy.
Oh, good.
Luckily, my sister is no longer with him and instead happily married to a great guy now.
Wow. Yeah, Dean wasn't making it back to any family parties after that.
Dean, what were you thinking, buddy? Dean, the dancing machine.
All right. When I was 8 or 9, I made my own breakfast of ramen and 2 glasses of eggnog with no supervision.
Ramen?
Ramen, like noodles. Ramen.
In eggnog?
She was 8 or 9.
That's disgusting.
After much vomiting, I was rushed to the hospital with everyone thinking my appendix burst. The doctor in the ER did a checkup, then asked me what I had eaten. I told him about the eggnog and ramen, and it ended up just getting some real food and anti-nausea meds. But I haven't had eggnog in 13 years, and I probably never will again.
Wouldn't stop me from eating ramen noodles, though.
No, I'd probably still have both, to be
I
honest.
love ramen noodles.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some foods I've vomited that I'm like, can't do that again. The toddler who was in the wrong place at the wrong time on New Year's Eve. So this happened when I was around 2. My parents were running around the house getting ready for our annual family's New Year's Eve party. Somehow, in all of the rush, no one noticed that I was hanging out by the door. We can see where this is going. My finger just so happened to be in the way of where the door hinges were. To this day, nobody will admit to have been the one to shut the door on my finger. We spent most of New Year's Eve and all of New Year's Day at the hospital as my whole fingertip had been severed. Luckily, they were able to reattach it.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine how painful that was?
That's going to hurt.
Ouch. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Last month, my Christmas tree fell down in the middle of the night, and my dad reached down to pull it up and tore his bicep.
Oh.
He just got surgery and is recovering well.
Ouch.
Tore his whole bicep trying to lift up the Christmas tree.
Well, this person went up to retrieve decorations from the attic, only to come back down through the ceiling.
Oh!
I fell through the attic floor like in a Christmas vacation, but instead of landing on a bed, I landed on a concrete garage floor and fractured my spine.
Oh!
At least I didn't have to run in the turkey trot the next morning.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Because you know what? People forget, like in some of those attics,
they're
walking literally just on the plywood.
Right.
I mean, on the blue board, you need to have plywood across the girders.
Oh, my God.
Holy sholy. Okay.
2 years ago, on the night of the 25th, I went to a party, slipped on ice twice, and broke my wrist.
Slipped on ice twice.
Twice. I ended up having to get surgery and 3 pins put in.
Ouch. Well, 2 stories that prove why stocking holders and children don't mix.
No.
My family had these stocking holders of little churches with intricate steeples.
Oh, no.
When I was 8 years old, my brother and I were opening our stockings on Christmas, and our dog came over to my stocking that was filled with chocolate. I jumped up and tried to hang my very full stocking back on the holder, which tipped over. The steeple went straight into the top of my head.
Oh!
The blood was everywhere, and we drove to the ER thinking I needed stitches, but it turned out it was just a scratch that bled a lot. We got rid of those stocking holders.
Yeah.
You're lucky it didn't end up in his brain.
Yeah.
Once during a holiday party as kids, we all decided to play games of tag around the newly decorated house.
Of course.
My best friend at the time ran under the fireplace running into the stockings. The metal stocking holder fell off the ledge and hit her in the face.
Oh.
After tears and stitches, she went home.
Oh.
And the party ended early.
Ruined it.
Into his head.
Playing musical chairs at my husband's work party. I had not taken advantage of the open bar as much as the woman next to me and was not nearly as competitive. The music stopped and she hip checked me from my seat. I went down like a ton of bricks, severely injured my pride, and tore my MCL.
Ooh.
Surgical repair next week.
How does she feel,
Yeah.
huh?
I know.
Ooh, that would be you, Laura, because you would.
That would be me.
Get out of my seat. All right. The little brother who ended up cutting carrots and a fingertip for Rudolph.
Oh, no.
Let's see what he does. Oh, come on. When my little brother was about 8, we were chopping up carrots for the reindeer. His knife slipped and he managed to cut part of the tip of his finger off. He spent Christmas Eve in the emergency room with our mom. Lovely.
Oh, my God.
Lovely.
My husband and I had all of the outdoor holiday decorations laid out on the living room floor, including some snowmen attached to irresponsibly large and pointy lawn spikes. Why would you do this in your living room? I came running in barefoot from the garage, carrying a box in front of me, and tried to kick the snowman out of the way.
Oh, no.
While kicking, I managed to spear myself, Paige, with the lawn spike between my toes.
Oh, fuck.
That's the worst place you could have speared yourself.
Literally, my butthole felt that one.
Yeah.
Ouch.
My husband had to pull it out, and I ended up with 6 stitches in an orthopedic shoe.
Oof.
Between your toes. That's the worst.
Could you imagine the pain?
No, that is.
I just have a couple of Nerf guns. My nephew got a high-powered Nerf gun and shot my husband in the eye.
Oh.
My husband lost his vision for a bit, so we had to go to the ER and get his eye checked out. It was fine.
Probably just complain.
Yeah.
Last year, my friends and I were frosting holiday-themed treats. Feliz Navidad came on, and we were jamming out. My friend, who had a cake frosting spatula, got a little too excited and started dancing around. Well, she accidentally lost grip on the spatula, and it flew right at me, leaving a 2-inch gash on the side of my face. I still have a faint scar from it.
What kind of spatula
I don't
was
know.
this thing?
My
And
spatulas
how
are like
fast
that
was
rubber.
she dancing?
Yeah.
Right.
Feliz Navidad's not that fast.
No, it's not that great a song either.
No.
The good old tumble down the stairs while carrying a box of ornaments.
Oh.
I tripped down the stairs Thanksgiving Day carrying a box of ornaments my mother had asked my sister to retrieve. Wound up with 4 stitches to the chin, 2 broken ribs, skin knees, and let's not go into the mental anguish suffered when my mother saw the condition of some of her heirloom ornaments. Why so much damage, you ask? My mother is an organist, and her organ is conveniently located at the bottom of the stairs.
When I was 6, my aunt and I were baking Christmas cookies, and she called me into the kitchen. I came running in just as she was turning around with a cookie sheet, and the corner got me right in the face. I ended up with a huge gash through my eyebrow, and my father took me to the emergency room to get stitches. My parents got some interesting calls after I went back to school and told everyone that my aunt had hit me with a cookie sheet.
We were in the trailer, and on Christmas when I was 7, I got moon sand. I like moon sand. That's some cool shit. I was so excited to open it, but couldn't find the scissors anywhere, so I got the sharpest knife in the kitchen to open. Where's the rest of the story? Oh, wait a minute. While opening the bag, I cut the top of my finger off and blood got everywhere.
Oh, God.
I'm screaming, and my sister's just sitting there with the "I told you so" look on her face. My parents had to rush me to the ER on Christmas morning, and I had to get many stitches to get everything reattached. Let's just say I wasn't allowed near the knives in the kitchen for a very long time. I would be scarred from that.
Yeah, you would never touch a knife in my kitchen again.
No, my moon sand's probably covered in blood.
Oh, the moon sand's gone. Ruined. When I was 9, all the cousins got together to bake holiday cookies. We each had our own tray of the ones we decorated. When my auntie was taking mine out of the oven, I was so eager to see them, I came running to behind her, and she swung the 400-degree baking sheet into my neck.
Oh!
I had a burn that looked like someone tried to strangle me. I didn't end up being burned badly enough to go to the ER, and fortunately, it didn't scar. Can you imagine that cookie sheet on there? And it probably like stuck. You know what? It's hot.
Kids,
and it sticks.
your skin comes off with it. Ugh. Kids are so like they just get so excited, especially around Christmas. Everything's amped up like a million. My grandmother always had a fancy silver. Laura, we've talked about this, okay? Fancy silver nutcrackers and a bowl of ready-to-crack holiday nuts every year at the table. Like, my mother had it year-round. I could still see my Uncle Tony cracking fucking walnuts
Papa
at
Jim
the table.
had the thing of nuts on the nutcracker.
When was the last time you walked in a house and there was a bowl of nuts on the table?
Never.
Yeah. No, we
And
always had a fucking bowl of nuts.
That wooden bowl. Did you have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't serve them anything but the wooden bowl.
It was the wooden bowl.
All right. And they were walnuts and the nuts that had the hole and the shell.
Those
are they hazelnuts?
No, they're something that people eat all the time.
Cashews?
I forget. Oh my god.
There's all kinds of weird nuts in there.
Walnuts?
No, walnuts have like the grainy. It looks like a testicle.
No, they're like a nut,
They're like the
a nut.
round, smooth ones with the holes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
They're like it's like something people have all the time. You're like, you would never know they came out of that shell because you never see them like that anymore.
Because you're not an 80s kid where your mother had nuts on the table. So Grandma had the fancy silver nutcrackers and a bowl of ready-to-crack holiday nuts out on the table each year. It wasn't something us kids would do, but my brother wanted to get in on the nut cracking fun one year. I used to crack the walnuts all the time. I used to do it for my Papa Jim all the time. But I love to crack them.
I'm deathly allergic to them.
But I love to crack them.
I did too.
He was about 10. After a massive hive breakout, trouble breathing, and a swift trip to the ER, shot of antihistamine, and passing out, it's safe to say holiday nut cracking is off his list of holiday activities. Turns out he's deathly allergic to tree nuts. That's like things that come back to you, and that was one of them, the fucking bowl of nuts on the table.
I had a karaoke holiday party. My friend flung up his hand, celebrating my husband's rendition of Melissa Etheridge, Come to My Window. Unfortunately, as the hands went up, I ran full force into them, and my glasses were broken by these absurd metal Christmas light rings he was wearing for the occasion. The broken glasses cut into my face. There's an attached image here. It is after I got some ice and stopped bleeding, but before the bruises bloomed. The swelling wasn't so bad, but I had black eyes for a week while everything healed. My mom was pissed because my face messed up all the holiday photos.
Seriously? You're lucky she wasn't blind.
I know.
Come to my window.
Come to
I can't imagine my husband singing "Come to My Window."
No.
1 second with Christmas lights.
But I love the friend with the light rings on. I was so excited. He had to throw it in.
All right. Well, is that all of our stuff?
Yeah, I was just going to say that was from Caroline Key, who is a Buzz News reporter.
Yeah, I was
all
like,
those stories.
It didn't say much.
Yeah.
So that is going to conclude the festive holiday season of December. I hope you have enjoyed what random shit we have thrown at you. We are looking for stuff for the new year. I don't know how many years have we been doing now. Will that be the 5th year, 6th year?
5? I don't know.
We want to be big like Joe Rogan. Can you help us out, guys?
Oh, God.
I just want to be big. Be great. Quit my job. We'll travel the country, travel the world, doing podcasts. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah.
Okay.
We're not there yet, Laura.
No, we're not. No.
But I love our loyal listeners. I do love you guys.
I do love them.
So bring us some new ideas and everything for the new year. Mm-hmm. And we wish you all the happiest and healthiest of the New Year's. And we will see you in 2026.
Yikes. 2025.
2025.
We're not skipping a year. We'll be here in 2025.
I'm only going to be, I'll be even higher in my 50s. We're 2025. I've already passed 2025.
Yeah, she's already through it.
I'm already through it. I've had enough of this shit.
Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.